Hi guys, my name is Praveen Thokal and today we are going to discuss about the relations between India and China. So let's get started. India and China are two of the most historical nations in the entire world, and they have, even archaeologists have found out that the relations between them started from thousands of years ago. They have a natural boundary, which is the Himalayan mountain range. That's why they never tried to invade each other, except some of the exceptions. But let me tell you that these two superpower houses that are today, they date back a long centuries ago. So let's get started from the very beginning. Okay, so there was a Silk Road which was used to be used as a trade route from Asia to Europe, and that Silk Road passes from China as well as India, and that's how the initial communication started between India and China. Most importantly, the Buddhist dharma or Buddhist religion started from India itself and then spread across China over there. And Tibet, which is like a autonomous region of China, still has a large population of Buddhist people which have some kind of origin. I mean the religion itself started from India. Many historical kingdoms like Cholas from the South India towards the Yuan and Qing dynasty of China, they have relations, and we can find the archaeological coins which have been shared amongst each other. So you might be thinking, if India and China have such a nice and long relations, when did it went wrong and why did it went wrong? So I'm gonna tell you that in the next chapter. So okay, here's what happened. India came under the rule of British East India Company, and China was also getting invaded by another imperialistic powers. And here's what happened. India started trading opium to the Chinese people, and Chinese people got addicted to it. And that's how the Opium War started. We will discuss about it in another video. But yeah, let's go ahead. During World War II, India and China both halted the progress of imperialistic Japan. After the independence of India, it formed the formal relations with Republic of China. But it was one of the first non-communist nations to end its support of Republic of China, and then it supported the newly arrived People's Republic of China. And it started going downhill when China annexed Tibet. The Dalai Lama from Tibet is currently living in exile in India, and the name of the place is Dharamshala in Uttarakhand. The border disputes between India and China have led to three of the conflicts, that is 1962 War of India and China, then the 1967 and 1987 conflicts. Now we are going to the modern history of India and where it stands regarding China. During the 80s, both countries started towards recreating or redoing their policies against each other, and then it was kind of a friendly period until the late 2000s. So here's what happened in 2020 which disheartened every single Indian person. So there is a place in Aksai Chin, which is Galwan Valley, where Indian soldiers and Chinese soldiers have skirmished, and 20 of the Indian soldiers got killed and 42 of the Chinese soldiers also died. China is also playing a critical water crisis with India. So there are multiple rivers that start from China and which end up in India, and China is building dams on those rivers, and they are blocking the water and releasing the water at their own pace, which has been flooding Assam throughout these years. And this is a very serious crime. And this has led to a moment in India where people have been banning Chinese products, which is called as Boycott China movement, where people have stopped using Chinese phones and stopped using any of the electronics that are getting imported from China. And this has threatened Chinese economy in a good way. So is there hope for any better future for these two countries? Yeah, let's talk about that. So here are two of the major superpowers. Both of them are most populous countries in the world. Both of them have huge armies, and both of them are trying to become economically the first country or the major economic hub of the future. China is succeeding in this regard, and it is also trying to overtake US, but it has a very big threat, and that is India. Because many people predict that India can overtake China in the next 20 to 30 years. So what do they have to do? Can they work together and maybe make this a better deal for both of these countries? Also, both India and China have been aggressively trying to resolve both of their border disputes with other countries. For example, India just recently completed its border dispute and they solved these things with Bangladesh, as well as they have resolved a lot of other border disputes with Bhutan as well as Nepal. What is China doing? China is also actively trying to resolve all of their border disputes. So I think maybe some way in some kind of negotiations, maybe some kind of exchange, and it can be dissolved. Because see, Aksai Chin as well as the entire Kashmir and Ladakh region, they are integral part of India. So they belong to India. But there can be another kind of like fair exchange where both of the parties agree to this and the bloodshed can be stopped between the two armies. There are three ways this can be stopped without a single bloodshed. That is, first, if People's Republic of China gets removed and the Republic of China comes back, which lives in Taiwan right now as we speak. So if Taiwan successfully captures the entire China, maybe the relations between India and Taiwan can become better. Currently, they also support the same border disputes that China has, so it can't be a guarantee. So we have to like tread lightly. The second one is Tibet. If Tibet goes autonomous and Tibet gets its country status back, then all of the border disputes between India and China are through this Tibet region. If the Tibet region gets freed, then India and Tibet have had very nice and friendly relations with each other. So maybe Tibet and India can resolve these kind of issues. Third one is, if West keeps pushing Asian countries like India and China, then they will have no other option to unite and stand back against the Western countries. Like US and Europe, if they keep forcing their policies on India and China, if they keep sanctioning these Asian countries, then these two countries will have no option than to unite together. And in order to unite, they will have to resolve their border disputes. These are the three scenarios where these things can get better. And to conclude this, I would like to say that India and China have maintained peaceful relations in the history. And they can do so in the future as well if one of the three scenarios that I told you comes true. Even other than that, if you have any other scenarios in your mind, please let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. See you in the next one.